Share too. What's going on, peoples? My name is Joey Ferris. I am the host of the Game and Talk podcast. We are on episode 86, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yes, we are. The title is right down here below. We have a very packed episode. We have the most guests we've ever had on the show ever, featuring Chris Del Castillo.
Wait. Didn't before I joined, wasn't it just two of you anyway?
No, I don't think so. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. This was back in the old days before this podcast. First of all, we are on episode 86, but it is literally impossible to watch like the first 50 episodes. Because
so we might have to reboot, soft reboot.
Exactly. Soft reboot, whatever Universal's doing, whatever Fox is doing, whatever these movie companies are doing. I don't even know anymore. But let me just share the link right quick. But yeah, we got a show for you. Let's start off a little bit with what you've been playing. So, Chris, what you been playing?
Honestly, I have not had much time this week. It's just been so hectic for me.
I've put in a fake gamer over here.
Oh, how dare you, sir? I've put in a little bit of time into Lost Sphere, a game that's in my back catalog.
Okay.
So, I'm an RPG guy. I picked that up. I actually have a sealed copy. And then on last Saturday, I found a Switch physical copy for $10. So I was like, you know what? I'll keep mine sealed. And then earlier today, I picked up Moonlighter because GameStop has it for like $15. So I was like, sure, why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Other than that, honestly, I need to finish Yakuza 0. Yakuza Kiwami. That's honestly, sadly, all I've really done.
Tisk, my man. You didn't even get Turok on the Nintendo Switch? How dare you, sir?
Why? I have the original 64.
The original 64 version that runs at approximately 15 frames per second.
But honestly, that card only cost me $7 compared to $20.
Well, to be fair, for $20, you get the game in HD, 60 frames per second, a remastered soundtrack. But what's funny? They didn't even the remastered soundtrack's not even the default. The default's the original soundtrack because the remastered soundtrack just isn't good. It's just whatever. Like, why wouldn't you play that game without the original soundtrack? The boom, 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 boom. Just the drums. That's all it is.
So I'm guessing you like it?
I do like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. I'll come out with a review of it eventually. And then I'll get Turok 2 when it comes out next month on the Switch. I had it on PC for the longest time, Turok 1, but I didn't really care much for it. And then I heard it was coming to Switch, and I'm like, well, you know how I am with Switch ports, so why not? Let me just post this to Twitter right quick. We are live talking about Google Stadia and the Nindies presentation. Yeah, come podcast with us. Don't podcast with us, but watch this podcast. And today I've been playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software. Those guys, I don't know what it is about them. They just like to torture their players, and they love it.
But interestingly enough, I do like how it's published by Activision. Not something I ever thought they would do.
I know, right? Activision publishing a game that doesn't try to milk you out of your money. That's very weird. There's not a loot box in this game at all. It's kind of incredible that they did that. I was actually thinking about that today too. Just like, okay, I just remembered this is an Activision game or Activision published game. Well, how did this even happen?
They do it every so often. Luckily, they didn't add anything to Spyro or Crash that was expensive.
Exactly. Activision realizes, hey guys, single player games, they do good.
They aren't EA, okay? Come on.
They're not EA. That's very true. I keep forgetting EA is the only company that said that single player games don't sell.
Yeah.
Every other company is like, are you nuts? Are you knucking futs? Sony especially is just like, look at this, the Spoder-Man, God of War. What's going on, guys? Hey, I got a new microphone. It's really cool. Look at that.
Ooh.
It's got a pop filter and everything. But yes, let's get into the topics. Actually, no, let me talk a little bit about Sekiro first. I have dabbled in Dark Souls quite a bit. I reviewed Dark Souls 3 for Nerd Reactor and never beat that game.
Really quick question. Have you beaten them all? Have you beaten any of them?
I was literally about to answer that. I have not at all. I get to the point where I'm enjoying the game so much. I love the combat in them, love like the grinding aspect of them as well. When it's like, oh, I'm sucking at this boss, let me just grind for a bit, see if I can help myself. And then I get to this really hard boss, and I'm just like, you know what, screw this, I'm done. And I know the same thing's gonna happen with Sekiro, honestly.
So confirmed. Joey's a glutton for punishment. He loves getting spanked.
Yes, I love the spanking covered in leather now, but I'm really liking Sekiro. I feel like I'm getting really mad at this game way early on. Like I didn't really start getting mad at games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls until like I don't know, maybe 7-8 hours in. I'm like 5 hours in, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, can I just do something right for once? God, people have been saying it's tougher than Dark Souls and Bloodborne, easier than Neo. Never played Neo, but yeah, this game is more accessible than Dark Souls and Bloodborne. Is it easier? Hell no. Absolutely not. I love that about From Software. They somehow find a way to make their games more accessible without making them easier, you know?
It's something I need to play later on. I'll probably pick it up in the next couple of weeks. There are just quite a few games that I still need to pick up pretty soon.
Yeah, quite a few. Like what?
Man, I have to remember some of the.
Did you make a list? Look at you, proactive.
I never make a list. I actually just look up upcoming releases.
You got to get the games on my list right now. The only one I can think of is Days Gone, because I know I want to talk about it on my channel. Not looking forward to that game that much, but we'll see. It could be a surprise hit. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you're not excited for Yoshi's Crafted World?
Oh yeah, of course I'm getting that, but
that's next week. But let's see. I need to pick up Dragon Marked for Death. Yeah. I'm kind of thinking of picking up the Danganronpa trilogy. I know you did some reviews for that back in Nerd Reactor.
Freaking terrible ones. I wasn't even close to beating any of the games.
I've beaten 1, 2. I've actually not played 3 because I know you reviewed that. But I do got to pick that up. So
I didn't review 3. I reviewed 1 and 2.
Oh, right, you did the remakes. That's right.
But I had no time in the world to finish them. So yeah, well, now that what's Nerd Reactor going to do now? Fire me? But whatever. Got them.
Let's see. Zonky Zero's coming out next month. RPG, I know you don't care. Mortal Kombat 11 next month as well. Oh man, just so many. Freaking Atelier Lulua in May. Persona Q2 in June. Oh, Judgment. That's going to be fun. I know Alan's going to love that one too. And for you, I know Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel.
Exactly. Speaking of Alan, he's in the chat. He's a sick boy, so he couldn't join us today. I didn't even finish the games. You're right. But man, they're very interesting. Little games, aren't they? But yes, I don't even know which games he's referring to, but I'm pretty sure he's referring to Danganronpa. I don't want him to know that I haven't beaten any of the Dark Souls games. He knows.
You just told him. Oh, secret out.
I'm getting a phone call real quick from my girlfriend. Hello?
Isn't she just like downstairs?
I'm podcasting right now. No, she's at home. Not home. This is her home, but she's working at her old house. Yeah, I'm podcasting right now.
Very unprofessional, sir.
Yeah, very unprofessional. I'm calling during a podcast. Tisk tisk. You wouldn't see this at IGN or Kotaku, and they don't even have a podcast. But
you could have made it sound cool, like some important piece of information's coming out.
Bye.
Did Suda51 just call you right now? Is that what it was?
Yes, it was Suda51. He is my girlfriend, confirmed. If I die, Alan over here. If I die, it's not the sickness. It's Joey mentioning he's never finished Dark Souls. I don't even think Alan's finished Dark Souls. Let's be honest. But yeah, we'll see.
But this week has been pretty interesting in games.
It has.
I know it's not on the topic, but there is that talk about Disney's reviving LucasArts for games.
I heard that was bullshit.
Was it?
Yeah, like Jason Schreier came out and said this is not true. Well, okay. Or not really. Lucasfilm is.
It was like subsidiary or something.
Yes. Oh,
it's just something rumored. Yeah.
Alonzo said, I have it. I'm excited for Sekiro. Oh, look at you, Mr. I have beaten Dark Souls games. Shut up. All right, moving on to the first topic. Let's talk about GameStop's new CEO. What is this I'm hearing about? GameStop is getting a new CEO. All I hope is that he or she, it's a he, right?
It's a he.
Okay.
What's his name? Let me pull that up really quick. I forgot what his name was. That's pretty bad of me.
Tisk
But
tisk. We are professionionals here.
yeah, I know.
God.
I'm horrible on that one. George Sherman is his name.
Oh,
So
George Foreman. I've heard
George
makes some
Foreman,
really
yes,
good
he did
grills.
grills. I knew that one was coming.
He will totally bring GameStop back from its former glory. I know it.
So for a little more backstory into that, the second to last, well, actually I should say, yeah, the second last CEO left because he just walked off. They hired an interim and that just didn't work. So now
intern to be the CEO. Okay.
no, interim, not intern.
I was about to say that they hired an intern to be the CEO. Hey, you. What?
So he's a former head of Verizon, Victra, their physical store. Serves as an executive at Advanced Auto Parts, Best Buy Services, Home Depot, and Target. And his goal is to make GameStop more of an experience rather than just some random retail store. So I guess that they're kind of
Whatever
going.
that means.
It kind of means. Did you ever go back into game crazies back in the day? I don't know if you had any in Sacramento.
One, no, like twice. There was a game crazy right by my old house, so I visited there once. I remember distinctively renting Sonic Riders.
So yeah. I actually used to work at a game I actually worked at two game crazies, and it was quite an interesting experience. I could say because it was making a cultural experience where we had it so people could enjoy themselves, hang out, play games, try everything out. And now GameStop might be doing something similar, which would be kind of cool because they got to do something to get people in. And if they have open use games, and if they have a couple of setups to let you try out the game, doesn't that make you more interested to play the game? Like actually knowing you can like it. They don't have to give you what, an hour to play, but 15 minutes can make a huge difference. It's just like, do I like this game? Do I not like this game?
Yeah, I don't understand why most GameStops, at least the one by my house now, they only have, I think the only demo kiosk they have is the Switch. They for some reason have an Xbox kiosk where you can't play the games at all.
Oh, it's just a video one. Yeah, I have one. One of my GameStops has that. I don't know why they do that either.
And of course, they're just surrounded by Funko Pops and all kinds of merchandise, shirts more than anything. And it's just like, what make GameStop great again? Come on.
I mean, it's not a bad thing, them doing the figures and stuff. Gives options. I know certain stores. I know the one in San Francisco is like 2 floors when I went to go visit you guys. And one store, like one floor is all collectibles with some games. Then downstairs is all like games with some collectibles. I like that concept. It's a one-stop shop at that point because honestly, they need to do something because game market is changing.
It is.
It sucks because I'm a physical guy, and I know you're a digital guy.
I'm not.
I thought you prefer digital.
Oh, I am a huge physical game advocate. But here's the thing. I say that I'm a physical game advocate, but sometimes if digital games are having a sale, I'll get them there. I only get digital PC games because who gets physical PC games anymore? But like whenever anyone says like they're go all digital or they say digital games are going to take over the market, physical will cease to exist, I'm just like, no, would be stupid.
It'll happen, but not probably within like the next 10 years, I think. It's just these companies want to save more money, so having digital is cheaper for them. They're going to charge the same amount. If anything, games are probably going to get more expensive. Within 5 years, we'll be switching over to digital, but games will probably cost $69.99 because that's the trend we are. Remember when games used to cost, PS2 games used to cost $49.99, but now they're $59.99? It just happens. But actually, I'll tell you a funny story really quick, too.
Funny story.
So speaking of that GameStop thing, so like I said, I bought Moonlighter today. So I bought this. It was their last copy, so it was already opened and everything. I went to the market. I go home. I come home. I pop into the PS4. It won't read. It was a brand new game.
Oh Jesus!
Guess what happened when I opened it up? there was a giant, well, not a giant, but a small crack on the disc. A
What?
brand new copy, yeah. So, like, yeah, let's get rid of my receipt. So, ideally, like right around here, this is a different copy, was a small
Yes.
crack about that big.
Oh my god, that's
I know.
terrible.
Well, I mean, come on, it's a brand new game. How the hell do they do that? So I
How
go
does
to the
that?
store and then I go, hey, so I just bought this. It's not that. And you know what the worker said? Oh, you're switching it out with a broken one, aren't you? I was like, excuse me? I'm like, I'm just trying
How,
to get this switched out.
how dare you? The audacity.
I was like,
Accuse me of
yeah.
such a thing.
I was like, yeah, you know what? I should have looked at the disc before anything, but I trusted you guys and look what I got. So that was like a whole 45
Yeah.
minutes wasted. I was like, come on, GameStop, fix your crap.
Exactly. Let's hope they get it fixed. Let's hope this new CEO does it. But we're going to talk a little more about digital media versus physical media because Google did a thing this week.
They do
They
the thing.
said, "Hey, they did a thing, and they did a thing at GDC. They announced what they're doing for video games, and as we expected, they're doing something with cloud gaming, and their gaming platform is called Google Stadia because Stadium, I guess."
Really?
It's a weird name.
I thought it was called Google Splenda.
I thought it was called Google Stevia, the low-calorie sweetener.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, so it's a cheaper knockoff of gaming? Dun dun. Just kidding. Google's probably
just,
gonna be amazing.
yeah.
The funny thing is, it's not anything new. Nintendo does that in Japan with the Switch. There's a Resident Evil for I forgot which Resident Evil it was.
7.
Okay, yeah, 7 on the cloud. They've got that for Phantasy Star Online 2.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they have it over there.
They have it on cloud. I don't know that. I didn't know that one. But
now you know.
knowing's half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. But anyway, it works. I don't mind that for certain games. I would love that for Phantasy Star Online too. But we don't get that here in the U.S. Google's bringing it. But there are some issues.
There are some issues. But I came across this tweet from a Mr. You see, I should have the tweets opened up by the time I want to mention them. But they did this thing before they even announced Stadia. This was earlier this year, late last year. I don't remember. They rolled out like a bunch of different tests using their project stream basically through Google Chrome. They let a few people try out Assassin's Creed Odyssey game streaming. So this guy named Sergeant Bones at Sergeant Bones, SGT Bones, says it's time for my 2 cents. Google's Stadia is absolutely revolutionary. How do I know? I've used it. I've played through the entirety of Assassin's Creed Odyssey via Project Stream on subpar internet flawlessly. I played this on my 1440p screen and averaged 50 to 60 FPS. This was in beta. I don't live in California, New York, Tokyo, or anywhere else with Google Fiber. I had a flawless experience on basic-ass Comcast, on presumably beta hardware. Google is not only going to optimize their data centers as time moves forward, is there a risk involved and is the future scary? You bet it is. However, those doubting the technology need to see it before passing judgment. If my work laptop, a 5-year-old Dell piece of shit, can play Assassin's Creed Odyssey at near high settings through my hospital network, then I fully believe Google when they say they plan to deliver. So this person's clearly paid by Google. I'm just kidding.
Well,
he's an account with this dude is an account with how many followers? He doesn't even have that many. He has 207. So I found this through mutual followers. Is what happened.
That's interesting. There are some things that I have to bring up, and it sounds great that he has basic internet. It's working fine, but how many people were using it compared to how many people will be using it? That's going to be the biggest issue. If you have, let's say, 50 people, maybe 100 people trying it, compared to 10, 20,000, it's going to come down to everything by their servers, which Google's going to do great on that. but then your internet's probably gonna be a very big factor. And what did they say? It was like 25 megabit download that you needed, like that.
Yeah, well, I have that. I feel like that's the standard now.
Yeah, but if you don't live in California, certain other states are probably going to have some issues with that.
I live in Nigeria, so I don't know. Yeah, that's the problem with this technology. Is first of all, I'm not even a pessimist of this thing. I've saw a lot of people being pessimistic about that conference. And I'm like, sure, it was a mediocre conference, but also it was the first conference at the Game Developers Conference. Were you expecting them to talk about everything? No, that's not how rolling out hard. This is.
I was disappointed. I didn't see anything from Sega. They promised me Sega. Damn it! And I'm joking.
They promised me Sega Google Dreamcast. Why didn't that happen? I'm still getting views on the Google Dreamcast video I made. I don't know why. Why people are watching my older Google videos now, even though they're just speculation. Okay. But yeah, Stadia is going to be tough hardware to try and sell, because if you want to know if cloud gaming is going to work for you, you need to have it in your house, which is why they would be smart to do free trials. No brainer there. I feel like.
We don't know how much games are going to cost on Stadia, if there's going to be a monthly plan. So that's going to be kind of interesting. I want to try their controller hands-on before I say anything about the controller. I do like that certain ones will let you use any controller you want, but you also have to have, I guess, their controller to activate certain things too. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see that more in action, I guess, at E3.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to be. What I think is going to happen at E3 is I don't think Google is going to have their own conference at E3. I think we're going to see a lot of game conferences or like game announcements end with available on this and Google Stadia. We're going to see like Ubisoft and Bethesda. We're going to see them end like begin like, so this game's coming out, and it's also coming on PS4, Xbox One, and Google Stadia.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see that whole thing turning out.
I honestly don't see many exclusives at the beginning. Probably a couple of handfuls, but right now with everything going on between Steam, Epic Game Store, which is its own, I guess, its own podcast we should probably do soon about the headaches of Epic Store.
What headaches are there? I mean, no, I haven't heard. Well, I've heard about what they're doing. I heard the Outer Worlds is going to be exclusive to the Windows Store and Epic Games for a year, essentially. But
no, I'm talking about worse. I'm talking about somebody found a program that lets Epic pretty much access a lot of your registry on your computer. So they kind of know what you're doing. And they said, only somebody certain on our team is able to do that. But they were pretty much being able to gather all your private data.
That's different then. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant by headache. I don't care about them getting exclusivity. It's not a bad thing. If they're trying to launch themselves, every company wants to do that. Yeah, every company wants exclusives, timed exclusives. If they're paying for it. I mean, it's nothing new. We, as console gamers, see that all the time with Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. All I know is that, well, I already have an Epic Games account. So, hi, Epic. How you doing? How you doing, person behind the, that I'm doing this right now. So, just whatever you do, Epic Games, piss off Valve so much that they'll have no choice but to make games again. That's all I'm saying.
Or just fix Steam.
Or please, for the love of God, just get them to make Steam great again.
Get rid of all the crap. Yeah.
My voice is cracking a lot today. I don't know why.
And he's choking and dying.
Yep. But this also kind of what I wanted to talk more about with digital and physical games. After I saw the Stadia conference, all of a sudden, I keep seeing a bunch of people. Hey, he's here. Kyle's here. Yay.
We got one more joining finally.
I don't know why you're still playing on my phone.
I was like, what? I'm not even talking. Why do I hear myself?
my bad.
Not bad, bro. So, but yeah, what do you think of Stadia?
My opinion actually has lightened up about it since it came out. I think it was just more of like an expectations. I think we're all expecting kind of like a more harder dive into games, and I think it's just more of the same of that Google or what did they call it before? Project
Stadia?
game. Yeah, Stadia.
Well, project streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more of the same. And
Mhm.
that's fine. Like I think that's cool. I don't see it really taking off as far as like anything. I think it'll always be that thing that's like, oh yeah, I could get that on Google if I want. You know, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm a Google Stadia guy only. You know?
Team Stadia.
Yeah. I don't see anyone doing that. I don't see any like brand loyalty there.
I see it happening probably in a few years.
If they like have some like dedicated hardware, maybe because I can see them doing that eventually because I know the Chromecast they said at launch is how you will be doing it on your TV. So it's like, okay, well, you are coming out of the box then or no? So
yeah, well, the box is going to be 10.7 gigaflop. What's the term again?
Gigaflops. Yeah, it's gigaflops.
It's not
flops or something.
I just
teraflops. Sorry, teraflops.
It's not for me. It's not for me though. Like I like the idea, like, but I want a platform where I can download a game and then also play it offline too. That's where I'm at.
Exactly. But in the future, the Wi-Fi will be everywhere.
Oh no, and that's not a problem either. But there is still something to be said about being unplugged. People like I like to be unplugged at certain hours and certain days, just completely. And even if I'm gaming during those times, like a single player story, I don't want to be connected to the internet. I don't want to be bothered. And Google already gets so much of my information. Why do I want to give them more?
Well, you already have a Chrome account. You already have a Gmail, so they have everything. So
I have like 7. But
come play with us, Kyle.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I don't see that's taking off right away. I definitely don't see Stadia like I see it maybe succeeding in the future, assuming it gets to that point. But honestly, this is technology that's gonna have to wait for the people to be convinced that it's a good idea. And I also see it as more of a supplement to gaming rather than a replacement to
Exactly. And their logo looks like a cheap freaking third-party web paint browser. Like it looks so crappy. I can't believe they went with that.
Really though, they just said, so guys, how about this? Genius. Here's $5 million.
Stadia.
Exactly.
Although
pay their 5-year-old at kindergarten, okay?
Yes.
Daddy.
The multiplayer applications do seem pretty cool though, with the dropping in at any time off of any sort of polygonal surface. That seems really interesting. And I really want to know what they can do with that, because a real application like say you want to watch a specific angle in an Overwatch game. You say, okay, I want to watch from the payload from this side. You just go right there. And I'm like, that sounds really cool. Yeah. So I want to see that in action.
You know what I want to see in action? Google Assistant giving me a YouTube video. I remember doing that on my Wii U. Fun fact. Because I was playing Wind Waker, totally forgot how to beat a section, went to the web browser like, how do I beat this? And then it shows up on the TV, and I'm just like, oh, this is the future right here. And then the Switch happened, and it took them how long to get a YouTube app? Whatever. But yeah.
Google's been known to drop things before too. I mean, what happened to Google Glasses again? Like,
exactly.
They drop things, so who knows if this is even going to be a real project for them.
But when after this conference happened, I saw a lot of tweets saying there's danger if video games go digital only, and these like the same people that told me years ago, oh, video games are going to be digital only in the future. Like, why are you a physical fanboy? And I'm like, because of the reasons that they just say now, saying things like, remember PT, remember Scott Pilgrim versus the World, digital only games that you can't get anymore. I'm like, I've been warning you guys about this for years. Like, this is why I'm not a digital only person at all.
Yeah, that's like one of the big things that tugs on my heartstrings about games I love right now, like Sea of Thieves, with how it's so focused online. In 25 years, I'm not going to be able to go back online and play the same game because it's not going to exist. The servers are probably going to be shut down. Maybe they might have a new one, but it's still not going to be the same. But I can't. What I can do is I can go back and play Super Mario Brothers 3 because it's one game. You know.
Well, I'll say
Yes.
this. Actually, Kyle, it is possible for Sea of Thieves to still have a server 25 years from now if there's
Mhm.
fans that want to make a server.
Right.
There are
I mean,
fans.
look at Club Penguin. You know.
Like a World of Warcraft, you know.
Well, I mean, okay, that's different. Like that's the title for online gaming. I don't try and imagine. I don't imagine.
But I thought what happened was people wanted the vanilla server. People created their own vanilla server, and then Blizzard shut that shit down. And then now Blizzard
sorry,
made their
that's
own.
what you meant. I thought you just meant the brand of Warcraft in general. Sorry.
Oh no,
yeah.
No, like
that's been around forever, Joseph.
Come on.
What in Japan? Phantasy Star Online still has a server for Dreamcast, a fan-made server. So people are playing on that.
Okay, yeah, I see your point.
But going to also physical versus digital, you know, it's not just that great because I'm going to take, for example, Tony Hawk 5.
Ooh.
So the game,
one, huh?
yeah, the game on the disc is just a tutorial. The rest of the game is at like 40 gig download.
Oh, why? That game isn't even worth 10 gigs.
Something like that. But I mean, in general, now that they have the ability to patch games online, supposedly, it just half these games don't even freaking matter anymore.
Yeah, really. But you know, the segue to the next topic. Did you guys hear that there's a Nintendo Direct happening on Monday?
For real? Like a real? Oh, you're talking about the PlayStation one?
Yeah, except
you cuck.
That's what everybody's been saying. From everything I've been reading online, yeah, it's hey, are you ready for the PlayStation Inside Xbox or the PlayStation?
Dude, I just love it so much. I think it's great.
Yeah, everyone, for some reason, Twitter went wild today. I live on Twitter, by the way, so I'm going to mention Twitter a lot. And was just like, oh, Sony's copying Nintendo again. And I'm like, guys, you didn't say this about Inside Xbox. Like, what?
I think it is because Inside Xbox, like everybody said that at the beginning. They're like, oh, wait, no, you're like completely different. They're really trying to be like a G4 show where it's like, here's like an hour long of stuff you don't really care about, and then like 4 minutes of what you do care about.
Like Halo.
No, and then 16 hours of cops.
For real, yeah.
Cops.
And it's just oh, never mind. The joke's gone.
Major Nelson.
Yeah, gosh dang it! It's just Major Nelson with his white gloves, feeling the controllers. Thank you.
I'd watch 16 hours of that. I think his name's Larry Herb. I don't get where Major Nelson.
I almost called him Larry Johnson. I was like, what the freak? Isn't that a basketball player?
I don't even know. Larry Johnson just sounds. I think there's half the world population is named Larry Johnson. I don't know.
I think it's a fact. Larry Johnson belongs to half the population.
Exactly. But yeah, they're having their own thing, 2 p.m. PST. It's called State of Play, PlayStation State of Play. And everyone's thinking, okay, everyone's doing Nintendo stuff. What's the point of E3? And I'm just like, well, Sony is going to come back to E3 when they have shit to talk about next year.
Do you really think that so though? Like I think this is like a nail in the coffin for them for E3. Like
I don't agree.
For sure.
I don't agree.
E3 is going to this very weird transition, as both of you personally.
We are all salty about this. That's
why. We'll get into this probably at another podcast. I want to do a little more research before we actually. I know you guys want to slander and just get angry. But let's get some more details before we do that. Yeah. But yes, obviously EA's pulled out. They're doing their own thing. PlayStation pulled out this year. So Microsoft decided to come in. It's just very weird. But will this mean that PlayStation has a lot of stuff to show? It's going to be trailers and information on games we already know and some new announcements. Mm-hmm. Obviously, those games probably won't come out this year, but we'll see that game. PlayStation has stuff.
Well, here's my analysis on that thing. The reason my theory is reason EA and Sony are pulling out of E3 this year, even though EA is going to be at E3, they don't have enough content for for another crappy press conference like they always do.
Yeah, they can't
but
pull over a 5-instrument concert like they did last year.
Exactly. Like the only new game we know that's coming is Jedi Fallen Order. So that's it.
Yeah.
And Sony has been showing the same games for like 2-3 E3s now.
Mhm.
So and those games aren't even out yet. Like Days Gone, Death Stranding,
Ghost
Yeah.
of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like when I found out they weren't going to be at E3 2019, I was not surprised and I was not upset at all, because it's just
Yeah.
like, yes, I would rather you guys just not waste time telling us about games you've been telling us for years now.
Yeah.
But I know like this leaves the door open for them to have PSX again this year.
Yep.
And then announce the PS5 there and then release it next year. Although
Yeah.
I would rather they would just announce the PlayStation 5 the same year they're releasing it, like they did for the PS4. But you know, when they're announcing new hardware, when they got the new hardware all ready to go, then they're going to come back to E3 because they want that PS4 mic drop experience that they had at
Yeah.
E3 2013. That's just the way I see it.
In an ideal situation, I agree with you. The part that I just can't shake the feeling off of is just I honestly don't believe that these companies are coming back to E3. I don't think E3 is going to ever be the same. I don't think it's going to. I think it is turning into a fan expo for sure.
You are a pessimist. You are correct.
No, but yes, that's what I am. No, I think in the future there's room for them to come back and show a game or something like that. They've done that at PAX, but I think that's what it's turning into. I think E3 is turning into a glorified PAX, and I think with EXO, with PlayStation Experience, with Nintendo Directs, I just don't. I mean, Nintendo will rely on E3 for a while to show off games, but they also have their traveling brigade of people that they can rely on to show off their game.
When Nintendo gets asked about E3, when any rep is asked about it, they're just like, bro, we still think E3 is super important. And I'm just like, oh, you should have proved that last year with a good Nintendo Direct. You didn't do that, no, did you?
Yeah, I mean, they did also still have like the biggest part of the floor, didn't they? So at least they value it somewhat.
They do. I mean, in all honesty, it's impossible to get the amount of traction outside of E3. They do I mean, Nintendo Direct does great, but when you're actually putting it in the hands of regular attendees that are coming from out of state, out of country, just to do that so much.
I hope you're not hearing what I'm saying and saying like, oh, Kyle doesn't think that that's important, because I do think that's super important. I hope that they do come back. I hope that all these companies that come back in full force and make E3 great again. # make E3 great again. But I just don't think they care. That's my problem. I don't think they have the desire. Maybe I am a pessimist about it, but I just don't think that they will. I think it's a matter of time before Nintendo pulls out as well. And EA won't. I don't think they have any reason to come back. They never really had. I didn't really care about them being gone for the last few years anyway.
Yeah.
But Xbox, Chris made a good point last year when we were there. E3 doesn't make a dime off of them, so it's whatever.
This isn't the first time E3's made changes. Remember that while you guys weren't there, was that one year they had it in a hangar and only press was invited, and it was super small. I didn't get to go to that.
I've heard about that.
But I've talked to people who've been doing this longer than any of us, like even combined. It's just they've got to find something that works.
Yeah.
Companies are pulling out because, one, it's not just they don't feel that it's important. It's getting too expensive to be important.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know the numbers, but Nintendo's probably putting, I'm going to say, anywhere between 2 to 5 million-ish probably into their E3 presentation, which includes the tournaments. Last year they did the Smash and the Splatoon. Just all those things just tend to add up. And for companies like Nintendo, it comes back because, somebody like Reggie loved that stuff. Reggie really wanted to make it shine. He was the centerpiece of a lot of these shows with all these things. It worked perfectly. EA, no, because they really
they suck at giving us a good reason to be excited for anything they're doing. Yeah.
Well, what from everything that I've seen, EA's not as interested in its fans as much as its the board, the people that they have to answer to, where all of these companies focus on the gamers, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony. They're focused on, what? These people are going to buy our games. They're going to be the ones spending the money. Where EA is kind of like, come on, that Command and Conquer was the worst press conference I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't speaking to us. It's just like, hey, here's a popular game people loved a decade ago and wanted to see it. Well, instead of making the game you wanted, here's a mobile port that we can make money off of. Yeah, so it's just how perception is becoming. And, Sony's State of Play is a great idea because it gives them the options to show off, get hype. If they were coming to E3 and they had the State of Play, it could drive a lot of interest if there's a couple of big games being announced. Same, if Nintendo had a big direct and said, hey, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be playable at E3, even if it's just a snippet of the game, it's not coming out for another 2 years. Joe would be the first person in line waiting 10 hours before the show.
I'm already getting in line just in case after this podcast.
Exactly. So these things do matter. And E3 needs to focus on, where do we need to put our focus on? Are we going to put it on the industry? Are we going to make this fan event? It's going to take time for them to just realize what they have to do.
Yeah, and I get that the fans really kind of do shell out a consistent amount of cash, if you will, as far as lack of a better term, willy-nilly, they like businesses like Microsoft, like EA, like Sony, they're very methodical. Like, okay, well, we need to invest this amount of money, and if you're not going to do that, then we're not in. But fans like, oh, you have Metroid Prime 4? I'm lining up 50 days before E3 starts. It's
exactly.
I get it.
Man, it's just like people talk about E3 they talk about the possibility of E3 ending like it's nothing. Like, oh, whatever, we have the internet now. Who needs a big event where every game company announces their most anticipated games? And I'm like, that would be a huge loss.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
The industry.
I agree.
They don't understand. I'm not saying you two don't. I think you guys are with me on this kind of, but I've heard people talk like, "Oh, E3's ending, dude. Just accept it. It's fine." And I'm like, "No, it's not. Okay.
It's not okay.
It's not. So many people look forward to this event. Like it's better than Christmas for
Lord's also a historic event. It's been happening for." I don't even know.
As long as as old as me and Kyle are, that's how long it's been around, since 1995.
Yeah.
And it's just like losing that event would be a huge loss for the industry.
Oh, absolutely. I think it would be a huge misstep if these companies don't come back and if E3 goes away. I think it would be a huge loss to the industry. I don't think it would be the same. It would be more of just by the book. We're doing this because we have to. They would lose so much direct feedback from press, from fans. I like that. I like public being there. Don't get me wrong. Maybe too much public, but I mean,
yeah.
The fact that they're there is good because they're getting both. They're getting both inputs, and I think that's super important for these developers because people forget that these are still people making these games, and they want to hear what people think about these games before they release. That's the biggest reason why they even show them off before they come out. It's not because a big reason is because they want publicity. But what's publicity if it's going to come out and be crap? They care about their product. I mean, I remember how much the Skull and Bones developers cared about what our input was and how I stayed there for at least 10, 15 minutes just talking with them about how I like this and I think they could have done this, and they valued our input so much, and that would be a waste of an opportunity if that just goes away. Exactly.
I am fully with you there. Oh my goodness.
Hey, Joy, I'm not a pessimist. Chill. I'm a slight pessimist.
Aren't we all at some point in our lives? But yeah, man, I just look back at the old days watching E3 from home, just getting all excited for it. And it's just like losing that, I would be a very depressed little boy.
Yeah, here's my question. Where did he watch it from?
my
What
house.
website or what channel?
G4 for like a large portion.
Yes, I used to watch it on G4 too. But then G4, of course, did their thing where they went away. So I started streaming off of Twitch from. I would jump around between the E3's official Twitch or YouTube and IGN's coverage to GameSpot's, depending on whose connection goes out. I just
Well, and that's the thing. Like, knock on IGN and GameSpot all you want, but man, they do a killer job of covering those events.
Mm-hmm. They do. They do.
You know who else? You know who else does a great job?
Nuke the Fridge.
Us, yes.
Yeah, but not anymore.
We got our own media booth coming this year. Just you wait. Yeah, but let's end this off with some exciting news.
Hold on. I wanna ask you guys a really quick question back on State of Play. Do you guys think there will be any big announcements for that stream broadcast?
Absolutely not. I'm not expecting a single mind-boggling new announcement. I'm just expecting release dates for games we've heard about for years. Basically, like I expect a release date for. I would hope for a release date for The Last of Us Part 2. I want to know when that game is coming out. And maybe even Ghost of Tsushima. People have rumored that game's coming out in August, which I believe. And I don't think we're going to hear it. We're not getting anything Death Stranding related, I don't think. So
yeah, I think the name State of Play is really telling. That I think their plan is just to update us on current projects. If anything, they'll drop like, oh, here's a new VR title. Here's DLC to this game we have. Other than that, I think we're just going to get more Ghost of Tsushima information. And I don't think we're going to hear anything about Last of Us Part 2, but
we'll see about that.
Yeah.
We could not
be one big announcement, if not two, to end that stream to get people hyped.
The big announcement. What would the big announcement be though?
I don't know. Probably a game that we didn't know that's in development. I'd love if they randomly showed some more Final Fantasy VII because that thing's been in like.
That's true.
I want to call it the Duke Nukem Forever-ish kind of path it's going in
syndrome.
Right
now. Oh, fun fact about that game: Cory Barlog, the director of God of War, was supposed to make that game. Did you know that?
No. Damn. Why didn't he?
So, he was supposed to help make that game. So we were at PAX, and during his panel there, he got offered a job at a studio that he just kind of, if I remember correctly, he said he had a bad feeling about it, and he knew that they weren't going to be able to properly supply him a reliable income, and that they've been working on this game for years already. And this was back in 2009. And then he found out later that game was Duke Nukem Forever, and that came out in 2013.
Yeah, 2011, but it might as well have been 2013. Either way, it would have been bad, no matter when it came out.
Yeah, for real.
So next week, early next week, we'll be able to tell you if my predictions are right, or you both were just no, nothing happened.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, we are bringing PlayStation Experience back this year, and that's where you expect to get news about PlayStation 5. I think that's the most we could hear about anything, though.
So either Vegas, San Francisco, Anaheim, for the PlayStation Experience, because I think those are the three places they've held it: Vegas, Anaheim, San Francisco.
Just bring it back to San Francisco, please. I don't want to fly to Anaheim.
Too bad you're coming to Anaheim.
Damn it! But yeah, what if they reveal Blue Point's next game? That would be something. Blue Point did the remake for Shadow.
Reveal what Retro Software has been working on.
Retro Studios. What if? What if?
Retro Software, different thing.
I know.
I'm just waiting for. Hey guys, here's Insomniac Spider-Man 2.
Oh, shut up! I would freaking die.
Expect it in 5 years.
I got it right here, boy. I got it right here.
Look at that. But
it's too bad this controller's destroyed by this stick layout. It's just too bad.
Don't use your. Oh, you mean you don't like it because it's the correct stick placement? Look,
why would I want my thumbs touching? Why would I want that?
Why would I want one thumb higher and one thumb lower? What sense does that make? And yes, I was using this to play Sekiro because it doesn't have DualShock 4 support.
My question for you: in what games do you have your fingers touching to put left and right?
Spider-Man all the time. I want to go right, but I'm trying to look left, so I'm like. all the time.
Why would you go right? Look left to go right.
Because I'm trying to swing around the building. I'm like, oh,
You know
hey.
what? You know what? Just stop playing the game incorrectly.
Exactly.
Helicopter chase scene. I'm trying to look at the helicopter. It's going this way. I'm losing sight of it. So I'm like looking as I'm like swinging this way.
Oh darn! I thought my own body touches my own body. Oh, the horror!
It's obnoxious. I have meaty hands.
But yeah, we got a Nintendo presentation the other day. It was a lot of fun. It was the best Nindies showcase I have ever seen. Period. That was so good. Oh my god! Because they started off with a bombshell. Let me tell you, it got quiet.
A 40 style commercial.
Yeah, I was like, "What is this?" I saw he was holding a mug, and I'm just like, "Wait a minute, that's not Cuphead." No,
the same thing. I was like, "Mug, man."
Nah. What's crazy is that one of the biggest things I'm excited for this port. Oh yeah, by the way, Cuphead's coming to Switch. I don't know if we said that.
Oh no, we didn't say it, but it's just like, yeah, Cuphead's coming to Switch, and that was so great. They said in the thing, "No, you're not dreaming. Cuphead's coming to Switch."
Yeah, I there's so much that I've been looking into outside of what they've talked about in the direct. Two things. One thing that really blew my mind was that Mugman is going to be playable in single player, and I'm like, that's a really cool touch. Like that's like the Luigi cheat or code where you hold down L and R, and like that's just a nice touch. Second was that Microsoft was the one pushing to put this game on the Switch, and that just opens up a whole freaking new world for what's in future.
They're not going to make it easier. So if you thought it was going to get easier, sorry guys,
get rid of your plebs over here.
Oh my goodness! And they said that Xbox said that this is not going to be the last game that's coming to the Switch. So Ori confirmed. Like, what else are they going to put on the Switch?
Yeah,
like,
obviously. Does this mean Cuphead confirmed for Smash?
Dude.
No, just no.
Dude, I was talking about this on my Discord server the other day with everyone, and we were talking about like how it would be nuts if the last 4 characters were No way would this actually happen, but last 4 characters are Microsoft characters. We got Banjo-Kazooie, we got Master Chief, we got Cuphead, and we got Steve from Minecraft. And someone said, "There's no way Banjo's getting in." I said, "You're right. It's only Kazooie."
That'd be amazing. Just in her backpack, like just.
Does she play like Piranha Plant?
That would be amazing, dude.
That would be so good. You know, people want Doom Guy for Smash. Like a lot of people want Doom Guy.
I feel like you just need to go with Master Chief at that point. Like you're honestly. Just like I understand Doom was first, but at the same time, it's like. He's more iconic. Like nobody's like, hey, Doom Guy. That's who that is. It's like, oh, it's a military man or something. You know,
dude who looks like Master Chief.
yeah, for real. You see the Master Chief, and you're like, oh yeah, man. you know who that is.
That's the Master Chief. He saved
everybody
Reach.
He did not. Are going to be like, oh, why is Halo in this weird armor? You know.
Exactly. Oh, Halo is a robot who doesn't afraid of anything. That sort of thing. And in the middle of the Nindies showcase, a couple of good, interesting ones.
Should I go in order of the way they were announced really quick?
I gotta leave soon. Hurry up.
Okay, so we had Cupland, Overland. I didn't really pay attention to that game too much. My friend Pedro looked kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys cared about that one.
The one where you got a banana and this is like pew pew. You're just shooting stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Look, that's a while since we heard about that too.
The one I liked was Neocab. It just seemed very weird and interesting.
Yeah.
Joey, what did you think of that one? Just pretty cool.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, we got such small snippets of everything else. I only care about the last announcement after that.
Red Lantern, the one where you have to
okay, yeah, that one looks really good.
Looks good.
Yeah. Darkwood, the horror game.
Oh yeah, it looks very dark and woody.
The one one of the two I'm really excited for, Katana Zero.
Oh yeah,
that one just looks awesome.
That looks like 2D pixelated Sekiro, and it scares me.
Rad by Double Fine Games.
Oh yes, good old where you can give birth to baby mutants of Rad.
It looks like Toe Jam and Earl though, which is kind of
it does. Creature in the Well. I didn't care for that one too much.
I don't even remember what that was. Yeah. So there you go.
Blood Roots. I don't remember that one itself.
Barely.
Pine.
I played. at Day of the Devs, and let me tell you, you're in for a treat.
Is that the one where like all the different, like you have the 5 different species of people?
It's the one who looks like that kind of looks like a 3D Zelda game.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
Super Crate Box.
Don't even remember it.
Nuclear Throne.
No, remember that much.
Didn't remember that one either. Vlambeer Arcade, which was a shooter.
I don't remember that one at all. That's weird.
Swim Sanity. Didn't care for that one.
Yeah.
Blaster Master 02, which I bought like the moment they announced that.
Oh yeah, that was like okay.
Stranger Things 3, the game. And then Joey.
Oh yeah.
And
freaking Joey? Okay, let me tell you something. they ended it off with here from the creator of Crypt of the Necrodancer, and I'm like, never played it, heard it was good, and then it's just like, okay, she's jumped through stuff. It's a sequel to Crypt of the Necrodancer, obviously, and then I hear the pixelated music go do 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 do, and I'm like, are they allowed to do that?
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden Link and Zelda show up, and I'm like, boy, what? This is a huge announcement for a multitude of reasons. For one, it's pretty much a spin-off Zelda-ish game made by an indie developer. 2, an indie developer got permission from the big giants at Nintendo to use one of their most valuable IPs ever.
You know how Joey felt? Like this. Hold on.
Oh my
there
God.
you go.
I didn't know my erection could make a sound.
You got the little DS holder.
That's what was playing during your John Wick reaction trailer.
Exactly. Yeah. John Wick trailer reaction took me maybe 10 minutes to edit.
Yeah, I know.
It gets more views than my fucking
I
Slender
saw
Man
that.
one
I'm
that took
very
years.
upset. I'm so upset. Well, and, like, look at that meme that I posted, like easy couple hundred views, and then like hours and days upon days of editing the Tron video barely hits 100.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's an easy way to fix this, Joey. Less you, more Crystal, thousands of views apparently.
Yeah.
Yo, let's be honest, because it's statistically proven that if there is a woman in your thumbnail, you will get more views. That's not even like, it doesn't matter if she's trying to look pretty or not. Like, just her being a female individual gets more views.
All right. Let's do a test. Joey, I need you to buy a wig, get Alan to get in a dress, and in the thumbnail, put that and see how many views you get.
Dude, I don't think you understand how on board Alan is probably going to be with this.
Everybody's like, oh, wait, a girl? Wait, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
That has 2 meanings in 2019.
Okay, but the Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Crypt of the Necrodancer feature. It's the stupidest title in the world. Cadence of Hyrule.
I've never heard of this game before for some weird reason.
Okay, from what I understand, it is an action. Well, the first game was a roguelike dungeon crawler. And you move to the beat of the music and you attack to the beat. It's all to the beat of the music.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how it works, like control wise. I want to buy the game so I can figure it out myself, but it all revolves around music, basically.
Okay.
So, Joey, the full name of it is Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda.
New Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Plus
featuring new Funky Kong mode and Dante from the Devil May Cry series.
And
like they have to understand these. They have to understand these names are getting ridiculous, but whatever.
What they did was give it a sequel name, give it the actual company name, so people know where it's from, and then Nintendo wanted billing on it.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I'm excited. I think the art style is not for me. Like. But the game art in the game looks fine, but the art, like the actual art that they showed off was like, yikes, fam.
I mean, it's still an indie game. You know? But I like that art style. It's 16-bit and it's neat.
No, that itself is fine, and I think it's a perfect fit for Zelda, and I think that's why they ended up doing it.
Yeah.
So. All right. You know what? With this happening, Yacht Games, give me Shovel Knight, the Shovel's Adventure featuring Mega Man. In the future, okay? Or Scrooge from DuckTales.
I don't think you understand how likely that is, actually.
But I used to like those huge ass names. Just make
Everyone,
Well,
I asked people on Twitter. You can continue, Kyle. I don't want to be.
I
that
was just
guy.
gonna say, I wonder if that would devalue the name of Shovel Knight at all. Just because Shovel Knight's a great game, of course, and people love it. And I think Shovel Knight has crossed the boundaries of proving that indie. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I think Shovel Knight is. I would credit as the game that proved that indie games don't have to be like basement dweller games. Where you just made it in your basement and you barely made any money off it. I think Shovel Knight really proved that you can like do anything with an indie game.
He's an assist trophy in Smash, my
Yeah,
guy.
for real.
Well,
Like that nighty boy is going places.
Yeah.
I just
Well,
can't.
I mean, there are quite a few. There's not a lot, but there are quite a few assist trophies for Smash. Even not assist, but a lot of indie. I'd say indies. Indie trophies.
Shantae.
Yeah.
Chantal. I asked people on Twitter, who should make a good 2D Metroid game? What indie developer? People were like, oh, Way Forward. Oh, the guy who made Axiom Verge, which I personally was not a huge fan of Axiom Verge. Couldn't tell you why. And but somebody said the guys
wait.
Steam.
So you don't like Axiom Verge, but you like Metroid?
Very strange,
wrong with
right?
you, sir?
I don't really like it. I'm with him. Like I don't really care for Axiom.
I liked it. It was pretty fun. It was actually pretty good.
I think the problem with it for me was the whole the presentation of it. I didn't really like the music that much. I felt that the pixelation was kind of like dull in a way, and how every item and weapon you had all pretty much looked the same. That's just me. This one guy created it, so I can't really shit on it too much.
Well, and you have to understand, especially more so. I would speak for Joey here, but correct me if I'm wrong. But
you're wrong.
Metroid Prime was your first introduction to Metroid, right?
Yes and no. It was Metroid Prime 2, oddly enough.
Okay.
It's very strange.
And then you fell in love with the series, and then you went back and loved its roots. Kind of like how most of us did at this age with Zelda. How we loved Ocarina of Time, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, this old 2D stuff is older 2D stuff is great. So going back to stuff that we didn't have an initial connection with in a superior medium, if you will.
A superior higher society of 3D graphics. It is the future. But I
guess you guys are lucky. Sorry, I'll just say this quick. I know Joey's got to go. My introduction to Zelda was Zelda 2, and that was not a good one.
Dude, oh my gosh. What? Zelda 2 is amazing.
But it's hard.
I'm what, 10 at the time. I'm playing Zelda 2.
No, I'm kidding.
It just and then I got Link to the Past, and I'm just like, holy
wow, they can make good stuff.
And then I played Ocarina of Time, like not as good as Link to the Past.
What's funny is my brother said that same thing when he played the games. He was like, "Yeah, Link to the Past was way better." And I played Ocarina of Time, and I was not impressed. I was like, "What?"
You know what? I'll say the 2D ones are better for me. Like I love Minish Cap more than Ocarina of Time, Oracle Season or Oracle Seasons in Time, Link to the Past are all way better for me. I love Ocarina of Time, but those 2D ones are just way better to me.
Link's Awakening, man, is coming this year, and it's gonna knock your socks off.
Oh, you mean the Legend of Earthbound?
Yeah, I'm still gonna knock the art style, but I'm still gonna enjoy the game.
Oh, I love the art style, dude. I think this proves that Nintendo needs to make a freaking Earthbound 3D. It just looks too perfect for an Earthbound game.
If we're not getting Mother 3, we're never gonna get another Earthbound game.
I know.
Well, Mother 3 is Earthbound 3.
Yeah,
technically.
I know.
Okay, but
Earthbound Beginnings with Mother 1. Okay,
we got Mother 1. Earthbound Beginning, boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I wish they would bring that to the Switch. Make it part of the NES lineup. That would be freaking amazing.
Okay, I think that's the only way we're gonna get Earthbound or Mother 3 localized. I think is when they inevitably do Super Nintendo games on the Switch, or they'll do what they did with Star Fox 2 on the SNES Classic. Is like, oh hey, this game that you wanted for a while, here we go.
They never localized it. Earthbound Beginnings was already done.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying though. It's like they could. How hard would it be to devote a team? I wonder. And there's like an honest question. I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but I wonder how hard it would be to devote a team for X amount of time, just localize the game. And I know apparently it's never going to happen because it's controversial today and we can't handle it in the West. I mean, That's what Nintendo said, not me. So
I mean, it's also at this point where if you're going to localize Mother 3, you might as well just make it a full-blown remake and not just a port of a Game Boy Advance game. I don't know. That's just
well,
I'd
it
be
just made
fine
me
with
wonder, like, what's so sensitive? Like, what is there like a school shooting by a transgender some like,
Lucas? There's a scene where Lucas hangs dong. It's quite, and he's keep in mind Lucas is like a 5-year-old boy. I don't know how old he is, but yeah.
But like, is it just like, oh hey, like I'm naked because I'm taking a shower or what? Like what?
I don't remember. I haven't played the game in about 5 years.
I've never played it. You know, I'm waiting for the official.
I've also never played it. I'm
waiting for the Switch port.
Yeah, me too. But speaking of waiting for the Switch port, you guys will have to wait until next week or maybe the week after, whenever we decide to do another podcast for the Switch port of Game and Talk. So, Chris, where can we find you?
You can find me on social media at Nuke the Chris. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to do the whole Nuke the Fridge spiel. You guys just go to our website.
Yep, do it. Kyle, where can we find you?
You can find me on all social medias, including right here on your favorite YouTube streaming service, the one and only YouTube, Vanilla Soup.
Your favorite YouTube streaming service, YouTube. I love it. And you can find me on the YouTubes at Ferris Wheel Productions and Commonwealth Realm, as well as right here on Nuke the Fridge Gaming, and everywhere else, Twitter, Instagram at Ferris Wheel Pro. But thank you guys so much for listening, watching, whatever you're doing. We will see you guys next time on Game and Talk. Bye-bye.
I'll be back.